What up, y'all? Welcome in. Brand new episode of Snaps. TBob, A-Bear, Aaron Murray hanging out with you today. Hope you're all having a great day. Remember, Snaps brought to you by our friends at Snaps Clothing. Aaron's got it on. You saw him just pop a little pearl snap button right there.
That was so easy. So easy.
Am I crazy, or were you wearing it at your UFL game recently?
I was wearing it at the UFL game this weekend in
yeah.
Arlington. Had a rocket with my bolo tie, which I'm obsessed with the bolo tie.
You're going through a bolo tie phase?
I am going through a bolo tie phase. I am, yes.
Seems like, it seems like a pearl snap would be the perfect item of clothing to pair with a bolo tie.
It is.
I guess we might as well just tell people real quick about Snaps since we're already talking about it. Our brand new title sponsor here on the Snaps College Football Podcast is Snaps Clothing, bringing pearl snaps into the new age. Ooh, look at the new featherweight. Ooh. So which one were you wearing to your game?
The Traveler.
Okay, the Traveler collection. Yep. Let's take a little look at the Traveler collection. Okay, short sleeve, very
one on the top left.
Right here.
With the bolo. Guys. Like a lot of compliments on the attire from players.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, and there goes TBob. There goes his internet. But yes, go get you some. Promo code SNAPS CFB. Literally the best for the summertime, especially the short sleeves. Short sleeves have been great over the past couple weeks.
So I guess that's just going to be a problem today. That's the second time my website just crashed and restarted.
Oh,
sorry about that, guys. Be on the lookout for that for the rest of the show. But look, also, guys, remember Snaps, though, has their tailgater collection. Okay. So if you're a college football fan, like Aaron said, perfect warm weather gear. You want some game day gear. That also looks very cool. A little Western. We got Texas A&M, TCU, Oklahoma, LSU, SMU, Alabama, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, Oklahoma State, and more schools coming all the time. So head over to snapsclothing.com and use the promo code SNAPS CFB, SNAPS CFB, and you save money. How about that? SNAPS CFB.
Let's go.
You save money. All right. Oh, and you let them know you came from the show. Great way to help out the show. Another great way, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. What's up, though, guys? Hope that everyone had a great weekend. Very glad to be back. Aaron, how was your Thursday? Went solo last Thursday. How was your Thursday? What were you doing Thursday? Were you traveling for a game?
Oh, yeah, wedding. We had a wedding up in North Carolina.
Oh, wedding. Hey, how'd it go?
Went very nice. Went up to the Highlands. Little Friday wedding, which worked out nicely.
Catholic?
I don't know. There was not a priest there.
There's some weird. Okay, then no. There's some weird thing in Louisiana where Catholics get married on Fridays, but I don't know what it is. This was just a Friday wedding, probably for pricing reasons.
Probably for pricing reasons. The groom from Madrid, so his side of all of his friends and family came from Madrid, and got after it. Those Spaniards had a good time. Really good time.
Smoke any cigarettes?
Did not smoke any cigarettes. No.
They smoke cigarettes though, huh?
Maybe, probably. You smoke cigarettes. Fuck, you're not Spanish.
Whoa. Okay, first off. Yeah, I casually enjoy tobacco sometimes, okay? But I do not do it every day at all. And that's not the point. What I'm saying is, like, even today, there's all these memes going around. I guess Spain had some like massive blackout today. And
did a cigarette smoke?
Well, no, but Spain's like flexing. They're like, we don't care. That's kind of a French accent, but I'll just do it anyway. we don't care the blackout. And it's them like in like hanging out in cafes, and they're like all like smoking and drinking. It's like, we don't need screens like you Americans, blah 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 blah. And so I was just wondering if all the Spaniards at the wedding were smoking cigs.
Locke in the chat says it nicely. Cigarettes are not in the marathon training.
Look, were the Spaniards at the wedding smoking?
I did not see anyone smoking cigarettes. The majority of the wedding was indoors because of bad weather. So that's why.
Okay, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. Sounds like you had a good wedding.
How'd the show go? Went well?
Yeah, it was a good show. It was a fun show. I can't really remember what we talked about, but it was a good show. for sure. What did we do? We did
the entire wedding Thursday night, the dinner, the reception or like welcome dinner, and obviously Friday night for the dinner. Kind of feel bad. It's like when my sister got married on Georgia Auburn football weekend and everyone was watching the Georgia Auburn game the entire time. The entire conversation, the entire night was a bunch of dudes talking about Shadur Sanders. So just kind of you want people to focus on the wedding, but you had the NFL draft. You had the drama of Sanders. So everyone's kind of focused on that. Besides the Spaniards, they don't really give a shit. But all the Americans were very much consumed with the draft.
Shadur Sanders, who is that? I do not know who this Shadur is. I mean, look, to be fair, we're going to talk about Shadur Sanders a bit today as well, as the public humiliation ritual that he was subject to over the weekend is one of the more fascinating than we've ever seen. So look, we'll run through some fun stuff like which conference had the most player drafted, which schools had the most player drafted. We'll get into the Shadur disaster. I want to talk a little bit about Quinn Ewers, and then I think we got to talk about Bill Belichick in that just awfully, horribly weird 60-minute or Good Morning. It's good. It wasn't 60 minutes. Sunday morning, CBS Sunday morning. It's that wonderful show, CBS Sunday morning, but an awful interview. So weird. I feel very disconcerted if I was a UNC administrator, fan, all around, just bad vibes coming out of Bill Belichick. And apparently, according to some TMZ reporting that we'll get into, it's even worse than you think. So we'll see. By the way, shout out to Sven Krusberg, our resident Mississippi State Bulldog fan. He said, I had an excellent day. Lemonis is gone. We can finally move on. Aaron, who is Chris Lemonis?
The head baseball coach. Was he the one? Yeah.
Look at Aaron, guys. Big baseball guy.
Was he the head coach when they won the Natty?
So crazily here it's a wild ride for Lemonis. First year, wins 56 games, goes to Omaha. They lose to eventual national championship, Vanderbilt, fucking great year. 2 years later, I believe it was 2 years later, yes, they win their first ever team national championship in their 1,000th organized team sport season. They had gone 999 cumulative team seasons without a natty. Lemonis gets him there. They beat Vanderbilt, and it's been god-awful since. I think they're about to miss the tournament for the third time in 4 years, which in that program, in that building, completely inexcusable.
Yeah.
Completely inexcusable. They could go get Wes Johnson from Georgia, try to bid him away.
He ain't leaving Georgia.
Why would he not leave Georgia?
Why would you don't know Georgia for Stark Vegas?
What are you fucking talking about? Because Mississippi State's baseball program is one of the most historic in the stadium's probably the best in the entire country. Like there's no fan base cares more than do the Bulldogs.
Yeah, exactly. The Georgia Bulldogs.
No.
I don't know. I think if you get Georgia rolling in baseball, which he has already, it's a program because of where it is geographically that can sustain for a long time. You can get players to Georgia easier than Mississippi State.
People, not if you want to play in front of people who give a fuck. I bet y'all stadium.
No, they sell it out. They just redid the stadium. They made massive upgrades. It looks terrific.
Have you gone yet? Is this true, guys? Can somebody confirm? I feel like Aaron's just spouting.
Georgia's brand new facility just opened up in the past 2-3 months.
By the way, but Dudy Noble leads the nation in attendance every year. The dude is legendary. I'm just saying, y'all should.
You want to live in Stark Vegas or Athens?
Well, my dream would be for Mississippi State to just pile all the money that they have in the world and to do everything they can to hire Tony Vitello away from Tennessee. That would never happen. And actually, it would probably be a dream that would turn to a nightmare with Tony V at the head of Dudy Noble. But Tennessee would never let that happen, unfortunately. Wes Johnson, though, I didn't thought about that. Wes Johnson, watch your coach, Aaron. That's all I'm saying.
He ain't leaving.
Watch your coach, son.
It's Georgia, are they top 15 still? They're rolling.
I agree with Thomas. Georgia's unis will never allow them to be legit. I agree. Georgia's baseball uniforms are fucking hot garbage. They look like practice uniforms. They look like the fucking local little league team that all my friends I never see anymore because all their kids are just driving around the state constantly to play in these stupid ass tournaments every weekend. That's what Georgia's uniforms look like. Fucking lug nuts.
I'm not going to defend it. They're not good. They're not.
Also, hey, Tennessee fans, what happened, bro? Go Tigers! How about that shit right there? Fuck the Volunteers. Beat him. Aaron, you want to see something cool?
What are LSU number 2 in the country? Georgia 9.
No shit, dude. Duh.
Texas.
Okay.
Texas gonna dominate all the sports. That's where we are.
I know. I hate it. I hate it. Shut up. You don't need to fucking suck him any harder. All right, I'm gonna make everybody watch this real quick. If you're a Tennessee fan, I want you to pay extra close attention. Aaron, this is Friday night's game, delayed till 9:50 start time. I finally passed out at midnight, so I missed this live. Sucks. This is 1:30 a.m. LSU's up 3-0 going to the bottom of the ninth. They've tied it up, but there's 2 outs, 2 strikes, and this is what happened.
1-2. Smash deep to center field. Way. Back. Pucker.
452.
He smashed it.
This is my favorite announcer in the world. Listen to this call.
For LSU as Jared Jones
Hold on, keep listening.
smashes his 14th home run of the year. And this place is going nuts. LSU wins it with a 6-run comeback in the ninth.
Oh, wait, never mind. This is the one. So that guy, Lynn Rollins, he's like a local announcing legend. He's got that great voice. Pucker up. And he said, you need a bloodhound, a U.S. Marshal, and a search warrant to find that ball. It's every day with Lynn. He's unbelievable. Also, what the fuck is this umpire doing? This dude just hit a massive walk-off in a top 10 450 dead center in a top 10 matchup at 1:30 a.m. He wants it. Bear Jones wants to admire it a little bit.
Over the black thing in the
over the pitcher's eye. Over the pitcher's eye.
Shit.
Oh, you can't see it there. And the umpire's like yelling at him to walk. Get the fuck out of here, nerd. Anyway.
Nerd.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into some football. Aaron, what conference do you believe had the most players drafted?
SEC.
That is correct.
Hey.
79 players drafted. Who had second most?
Big Ten.
Exactly. 71 players drafted. Then the ACC, 42. The Big 12, 31. So, as you can see, the
NFC, AFC.
Yeah. Like all of the power dynamics that are at play are reflected right there in the draft picks. Maybe the only difference being that the Big Ten was actually a little bit better this season head to head, whereas the SEC still had more draft picks. Okay, Aaron, these are the schools with the most players drafted. Florida, Alabama, LSU, Miami, and Michigan all tied for 6th. They each had 7 players drafted. And it's kind of interesting. Like, for me, Michigan, a little disappointing. They had 3 first-round picks. They should have been better.
Yep.
The offense being that, especially for an offensive coach like Jerome Moore, like he better make Bryce Underwood work because the offense being bad enough to now granted that I like how that team finished, but like the offense being bad enough to have Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Colston Loveland win the first round. That's not even getting into like Will Johnson.
Loveland was hurt. Loveland was hurt for a lot of the season, though. Let's not forget that either.
Was he?
Yes.
Okay. When did he? But he played the end, so that's maybe one of the reasons why they got better.
Yeah, but I think in the middle he was out for a few games.
Either way, the point is to have 3 first-round picks and basically just above 500. You got to be better next year, Michigan.
I agree.
Miami, fun fact, 3rd number 1 overall pick in school history. LSU had their 6th top 5 pick in 7 years. That's the most in that span. Florida was interesting. So Florida had 7 picks, but all day 3 picks.
Yeah.
So not a lot of elite talent, but a lot of solid talent Florida's going to have to try to replace there next year. Bama had their 17th year in a row with a first-round pick. They've now had 5 quarterbacks drafted in 2020. Ole Miss, Aaron, and this is maybe the first thing you can speak on here. Jackson Dart joins Eli and Archie as the only Ole Miss quarterbacks ever to be drafted in the first round. Are you surprised that Jackson Dart is a first-round quarterback?
I'm surprised Ole Miss has more guys drafted than Alabama. I think that's kind of, it's shocking.
Oh, yeah, by the way, I'm sorry. I should have said that. Ole Miss is 5th on the list. They had 8 draft picks.
Yeah. They spent a lot of money last offseason to gather this talent. And we talked about that roster. So, not shocked there was that much, but still kind of weird to see Ole Miss ahead of Alabama with overall draft spots. Am I shocked? He was going to be the 2nd or 3rd quarterback taken. Is he a first-round talent? No. Cam was the only first-round talent in that draft. So, but do I hate the fact that he went end of the first? No, I think that's not a bad move, especially if you're thinking someone else may get him to start the 2nd round. You move up late into the 1st round, you grab him there at the 28th pick in the draft. So, but when it comes to pure talent, he's a 2nd round quarterback, mid-2nd round quarterback, maybe even or early 3rd round. We said it from the very beginning. This is not a good draft. Most of those guys would have been maybe undrafted if they were in either last year's draft or in next year's draft. It was just they're just sandwiched in this really bad year of talent where you sit back and say, how many of these guys do I truly believe have NFL starting talent? One. And then from there, if you're a 1st round pick, do I truly believe Jackson Dart is a future Pro Bowl quarterback? No, I don't at all. I think we talk about the middle tier being, what's his name in Atlanta, who's not even starting anymore.
Wait, hold on. You're not
the quarterback for the Falcons.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is always if you're better than Kirk Cousins, that's where you want to be. If you're worse, he's kind of in the middle. I would say Jackson Dart's going to have a career that would keep him on the bottom side of that line.
It'll be right under the Cousins-Mendoza line.
Yes.
I could say. But have you considered this about Jackson Dart? Here we go. Let me play this.
Been since I was a little kid. The eye block is pretty simple. Just goes straight down the right eye. But my inspiration behind it is Anakin Skywalker has his scar going down his face. And, that's kind of the tribute to my love of Star Wars. Honestly, it didn't end well for him.
This is why you like him.
It's just a lot of fun to watch his character evolve. I had a Star Wars birthday themed party when I was younger. My dad came out as Darth Vader. And all my friends came over, and we all dressed up as different characters. So that's definitely an early memory of mine. My favorite Star Wars movie is Revenge of the Sith or Empire Strikes Back.
Bro,
ooh,
good answer.
Go purple.
Purple lightsaber. I like that shit.
My college, Lane Kiffin, is best relatable to Yoda out of all the Star Wars characters. Just his knowledge of the game, has a lot of fun, unique in his own right.
It is kind of.
I am the quarterback.
So look, Aaron, I don't know about you, but
I like the kid. I like the kid as a person.
No. See, once again, I know more
why
he's
not there.
That's
your internet's so bad. Is it me or TBob's internet that's bad right now? Someone please let us know.
Oh, am I cutting out? Can you hear me?
Just for a second. You're good now.
Okay. Obviously, that's a 1st round quarterback right there.
Nope.
Okay. Yep. Shouting out Revenge of the Sith there, Anakin with the scar, with the eye paint as a scar. And a solid ranking from the young man. Revenge of the Sith going first is going to surprise many, but obviously he's a child of the prequel era, and that is good. That's pretty high on my overall rankings, but he also knows great Star Wars, having Empire right there behind Revenge of the Sith. Guaranteed 1st round talent, guaranteed Pro Bowler by year 3. Jackson Dart. I love it. Think about the Giants draft class. Who else did they take in that 1st round? Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. And he's going to be a beast, right?
Yeah.
Well, look at this shit. Look at this shit right here. How do I pull this back up? Abdul Carter. What does he have written on his nose black here, Aaron? Can you see it?
No.
Darth Vader. The Giants going full Star Wars with round 1. Joe Shane, I thought you were an idiot. I'm all the way back in now. A+ draft from the Giants.
And Scatterboo too. And Scatterboo.
Well, and both Anakin based in Jackson Dart and in Abdul Carter. Very
Speaking
strong.
of the Ole Miss Alabama, I am shocked a little bit to stay on the theme of those two teams and quarterbacks. I was shocked to see Milroe go late third round. Very shocked to see Milroe go that late. I thought Milroe was like late first round. Like I could have seen someone trading up to get Milroe late first or somewhere in the second. To see him drop all the way to Seattle at the end of the third round was a little shocking to me.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted the Saints to get him at 40, but the Saints love Tyler Shuck. In fact, Aaron, Tyler Shuck's going to be QB1 in New Orleans.
I know.
Like, they're all in on him. Kellen Moore loves him some Tyler Shuck.
Is Carr not going to be ready for the season?
I don't think Carr will ever step foot on a field in New Orleans Saints uniform again from everybody I've talked to.
Damn.
Yeah. So Tyler Shuck probably going to be QB1 for the New Orleans Saints. Is that crazy? Like, would you have what's
name have no chance?
Who? Rattler? It'll be
Rattler.
Shuck versus Rattler. It'll be Shuck versus Rattler.
Oh, God, fuck, that sucks.
I mean, you want to talk about a funny QB room, and there's a few of these. Think about the millions upon millions of dollars that NFL teams pour into creating these rosters. And in New York right now, you have Jameis, Russell, Tommy DeVito, and Jackson Dart. In fucking Cleveland, you have Deshaun, Pickett, Flacco, Gabriel, and Shadur. And in New Orleans, you have Derek Carr, Tyler Shuck, Jake Hayner, and Spencer Rattler.
Oh,
Like, can you imagine the fucking money and resources that went into putting these groups together, dude? Unreal.
Dylan going into the third was shocking.
Yeah. I mean, especially when Shadur's still there and they circle back around for him later, dude.
God.
Hold on. Yeah, not quite yet. Let's finish off this. Okay. Oregon. Oregon had 10 players go, fourth most in the country. Did you hear the Derek Harmon story?
Mm-hmm.
So their D tackle, Derek Harmon, this is easily the most heartbreaking, but, kind of beautiful story of the draft. Derek Harmon's mother had kind of health issues his whole life. She's had a ton of brain surgeries, like 8 brain surgeries. There's always a point of like him pushing himself, like, oh, you think it's hard? I can do this. Look what she does. Well, she was on life support. And apparently she made it to hear her son's name called in the draft, that he was a first round pick. And then he said, I'm going straight over to the hospital. I'm going to tell her, but she'd already known. And she passed right after hearing that he had become a first round pick.
Wow.
So Derek Harmon's mom holding out, wanting to know that she had accomplished her mission. She had set her son up for great success. She heard that her baby made it and was a first round pick in the NFL. And then she passed into that long embrace. So thoughts and prayers to the Harmon family, certainly, but again, a lot of beauty and love there, pushing herself to the very edge. So Texas was number 3 on this list, 12 picks, 3 first-round picks.
About time Texas got some damn first-round picks. I mean, when's the last time we got any first-round picks? Yeah, Texas back.
Yeah, Texas is back.
They had a drought for like a decade where they didn't get any first-round picks.
Well, they didn't have remember, they did not have an offensive player draft in the first round from Bijan Robinson. It was all the way back to like 2008 or 2009.
Yeah.
So Bijan broke that. Now they're starting to roll. Kelvin Banks goes here, starting to roll a bit. Golden. UGA, 13 players drafted, second in the country. I think the most insane part about it to me is it's kind of feeling commonplace for Georgia now. Like, sure, three more first round defenders. Of course. Why not? Jalen Walker, Malachi.
They were close to 14 if Carson went to the draft.
Yeah, true.
And that team was just so inconsistent last year, which is crazy.
Not even a great, and I'm using air quotes, not even a great UGA team, and have 13 player drafted.
Yeah.
And then Ohio State led the way, 14 players drafted. National champs, right? Turns out, everybody wants to shit on blue chip ratio. They want to shit on all this shit, but look at the top 4 teams: Oregon, Texas, UGA, Ohio State.
Yep.
Where did they all end up? Now, Ole Miss, you got to do better.
But also look at the conferences too. There's one team that's not in the SEC or Big Ten. That's Miami.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I should have mentioned this. Ole Miss, 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. The team should have been better. The team should have made the playoffs. That's a failure.
We should have made the playoffs.
Yeah, they should have made the playoffs. That's a failure. All right. Do we want to get into? Oh, sorry. Ohio State had 7 players in the first 45 picks. 4 first-rounders led the country as well. So shout out to Ohio State Buckeyes. Take a bow. All right, let's get into the sheer disaster, the Shedeur saga. Is it conspiracy? Is it legitimate?
Yes.
Was it the pre-draft interviews? Was people trying to teach Prime a lesson? Was the film not good? Was he too hyped up? A million questions, a million different answers. Aaron, what do you think? Why did Shedeur fall so much?
We've talked a lot about our boy, good friend of the show, Chase Daniels, a lot in years past. I've had him on the show, and I've raved about Chase being the ultimate backup quarterback. Stays out of the headlines, does all the you can call it somewhat bitch work that the starting quarterback doesn't want to do, is there to serve. He plays a role. Chase played his role incredibly. And that's the reason why Chase played for as many years he did in the league. That's why he made so much money in the league. He was not there to be the face of the franchise. He was there to serve and to do the film, to do whatever he needed to do to help Alex or Carson Wentz. Got to see that up close and personal for 3 years. That's the role of a backup quarterback. You look at talented quarterbacks that are not in the league that probably could talent-wise be in the league still, from Robert Griffin III to even when Tim Tebow to Kaepernick. I experienced it with Terrell Pryor when Terrell came to Kansas City, and Terrell kind of was trying to overtake Alex, it felt like at times. And then a week later, his ass got cut. You cannot show up to a
He ended up playing receiver. Wait, he ended up playing receiver in the NFL too. He's pretty damn good at Cleveland.
Oh, yeah. Well, Cleveland and Oakland. You cannot be the face of the room, a distraction, anything like that. So I do like what Joel Klatt said, because that's kind of my feelings. I thought he had a good take on it as well. If you're not viewed as a starting quarterback, can I trust that you're willing to play the role of being the backup and that you're not going to be a distraction, that you're not going to try and steal the headlines? That's not your role. It is tough. Yeah. It is tough for someone, including myself, who'd been a starter my entire life, to swallow that pill that you're a backup quarterback and you ain't going to be in the headlines. You know, speaking from personal experience, was the number 1, number 2 quarterback in the country out of high school, was the starter, All-American, go to Georgia, break all the records, 4-year starter, and then get drafted and be a backup, and you kind of have to humble yourself a little bit, and it's difficult. I think there was a feeling of, we don't know if he is capable of humbling himself to be a backup quarterback because we don't view him as a starter right now. And that's why he slipped.
I think the backup angle is a very good one that is not going to be the first out of many people's lips, but it's one that I agree with. I think comparing Tyler Shuck and Shedeur Sanders can be kind of interesting in terms of the impact of the pre-draft process. But let's start with this.
Talent, I will say this. Talent-wise, there is no reason why he should not have been drafted in the top 2 rounds.
Okay, so that's exactly what I wanted to get into. To start, let's set a baseline for the convo. Is that this is that some people have tried to paint this like he was just so overhyped by the media that no, he's always a 5th rounder. But no, that's what they say. No. Film, talent, he's a 2. You could maybe argue 3, but the point is, like, he should have gone in that 2nd and 3rd. He should have been a 1st. Yes. He should have gone in the 2nd and 3rd.
Yes.
So why did he go in the 5th then? And that's where we have to look at the pre-draft process. Mm-hmm. And the same way that you can help yourself in the pre-draft process, like apparently that's how that's how the Saints fell so in love with Shuck. That's how the Giants fell so in love with Jackson Dart. Yep. You go in there, you're on the whiteboard, you're killing interviews, you're approaching things the right way. It appears that Shedeur just absolutely bombed it. Also, you know what else the Saints really liked about Tyler Shuck? He did the combine. He did the Senior Bowl. He ran. Yep. He was willing to go out there and compete. Shedeur, once again, thought he was kind of above all of that. Mm-hmm. So, yes, you can, in the pre-draft process, rocket yourself up, but you can also tear yourself down.
Yep.
And that's what happens here with, I mean, some of the stories coming out of the interviews are, it's like, look, again, you never know what's 100% true in these things, but there's enough of a common denominator where he just seemed to approach this job, like in some of these interviews, like
nonchalant.
He was bigger than them. Yeah, very nonchalant.
Very
like
nonchalant.
Dayball called him out for not being ready, and then apparently he got kind of mad at Dayball. It's like, I don't think that's how it works.
I mean, even seeing some, there's been a lot of comparisons, obviously, with him and Cam, because I think they did a bunch of training together. Seeing their interactions, obviously, whoever was posting these videos was going to post.
Oh God, the Cam. Well, sorry, continue.
Yeah, they were going to post Cam in a very positive light, and they were going to try and post Shedeur in a more negative light. So, like, it's hard to take all of this and be like, okay, Shedeur was like this 24/7. But like, even the comments from Shedeur being like, you want to make a rap video, essentially, and Cam's like, I want people to know me as a football player, not a singer. Like, I'm here to play football. Like, there is the question of where is the focus? You're going to be the face of my franchise. I don't need you worrying about other stuff. I need you worrying about football.
So I think that remember when they were training together here, Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, this is when they were still viewed as QBs 1 and 2 in the draft. And it was very clear, maybe even the point that Shedeur could have been the first overall pick. I think Cam Ward went into these workouts with a clear goal of like not working out together. He clearly wanted to show that he was QB1.
Yes.
I think Shedeur approached these maybe more from a content standpoint. Let's hang out a little bit. Cam Ward came in here trying to show the world, no.
We on the same level.
Like I think Shedeur saw this shit was friendly. It was not.
Bro, they gave you a completion percentage award, and all you did was throw check downs and bubble screens.
That's Cam talking to Shedeur if you're listening on audio.
Did that, my completion percentage is 90. I throw the ball downfield, you don't. You ran the ball. You had a run game. You had a run game.
That's already kind of interesting, Aaron, that you had a run game, because that's kind of one of the things about Shedeur, right?
Excuses. Someone in the chat is like, this is one clip. Who is it? It's Dante. This is one clip. That's why this narrative is so annoying. But you have enough of this.
I'm going to show another clip. We're going to show multiple.
This, but even going back to like him bitching about his offense line to start the season, and then other things that he does. Like, you're going to put all that together, and it starts to be like, no, this is a legit narrative. This isn't false.
I should say this, and I should have prefaced it with this. I will, and I need to give Shedeur credit here. I think it's been incredibly tough what he's gone through, and I think he has held his head high. He has stayed positive. He has kept a smile on his face. I feel he has handled the adversity publicly very, very well. I think it'd be very easy for him to shut off the cameras, to be reclusive, to go inside, to be woe is me, and yet he's met everything head on, and I give him credit. I give him credit for that. Also, Shiloh. I really like Shiloh in all this. I think Shiloh's been an awesome glue guy brother, making light of everything, kind of keeping smiles on everybody's faces.
I agree.
All right.
You had a run game. You did it? No. You was told that thing first. Think about it. Total rush yards. Come on, man. That ain't my fault. I hope you're not getting no water. We just had the first drill. Oh, that's how you feel? You get water. We ain't even done with the first drill. Let's go. That's how it is in Colorado, though. Inside the numbers. That's what it's like for a 9-win man. I didn't have water. I was in Gatorade. Shit, I get paid for it. That's cool. I need to get paid.
And then says at the end there, I don't need to get paid. Football pays me, which again, that's that's kind of the point of all this. And here's another one that has been making the rounds.
This is the one.
Brothers, make a song. Perfect time already. Come on, brothers, make a song. Let's drop one, Richie. I play football. Here we go. Yeah, it is football. I play football. You ain't got no hobbies outside of that? I play football. That's the only thing I want people to know me as, football players. They search up Cam Wood, we say American football.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
I mean, you see that as a coach, and you see those two interacting and saying that kind of stuff. You're like, there's a different mentality, man. There's that killer instinct. There's that Tom Brady obsession that I need in my locker room.
I agree with this. Ward was sizing him up the whole time. Like, again, yes, he did not Cam Ward did not approach this, I think, with the friendly content intentions that Shadur Sanders did. He had a mission, and it was mission accomplished. Here's the last one we'll play. I haven't seen this one.
Hey, man. This is a generational talent. I'm going to prove him right. I'm going to prove him right. Don't worry.
Oh, my God. No, this is more.
That's so, yeah, I knew it. Who said that? Actually, nah. An article came out today. I'm generational. So I guess it's article versus article. I like that you think that, man. But we all know the truth. What? Trap gonna be first? They know what's best. They know it's just like I told Joe. He don't know what that pressure like.
Damn, Cam just called him out. We all know who's going to be first. We know who's better. And, well. Okay, last thing on Shadur.
I do not agree with Zach in the chat there. NFL, Bronny James, he is still very talented. There are some maturity things. He's still young, and hopefully he matures. But to sit back here and say that he is not capable of being starting quarterback, you're an idiot, because what he's put on tape is NFL talent for sure.
No, I mean, no, to be clear, he like you said, like objectively, Bronny was not talented enough to be drafted.
No.
Objectively, Shadur should have been a second-round pick, third-round pick, somewhere right there. I do agree with this. TZ Gonzalez, they came from two different worlds, and they see shit differently, growing up privileged versus grinding out in the mud. I mean, this is something that I recognized in my own career, I think, in football playing experience. I did grow up very privileged, silver spoon and all that. And I did not have the same drive as a lot of my teammates. Like watching Tyrann Mathieu in college and seeing like where you could just see that his motivation came from somewhere so much deeper. And it wasn't just him. He was just the most inspiring guy I've ever shared a locker room with. But it was a lot of players, man. They didn't have a choice. Like this was their way to breaking cycles, to finding success, to making it, and they were not going to be denied. And it creates a work ethic that I think it's very tough for a more privileged person to have. Now, some people can. Some people can. I do think I did not. I didn't want it. I didn't need it as bad as some of my teammates did, and that was always something that was, I think, very apparent if I was doing an honest accounting of myself. Now, last thing on Shadur, what is fascinating, Aaron, is that now, how's he going to respond, right? How's he going to respond? How's he going to try to prove everybody wrong?
He's still in a great spot to be in Cleveland. He could be the starting quarterback this year.
Okay, well, that's fucking the most insane thing that's ever been uttered on a podcast. I get what you're saying maybe and who he's competing with, but that's my entire point, is that he's in the seventh circle of fucking quarterback hell.
That was the first thing that came to my head too.
They have sent this man to the hardest place to play quarterback on planet Earth, and they're saying, hey, now you have to prove everybody wrong. Like, you have to go to the place that like good quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield couldn't make it there. Like the place where like other quarterbacks who have had success at other points in their life went to this place and were god fucking awful.
Wild.
And so now, at a time when everybody is judging you, the entire world is waiting to shit on you and say, I told you so. Your path to proving them wrong has to go through Cleveland.
How sweet it would be if he did prove them wrong, though, in Cleveland. I mean, that would be the ultimate.
It's the ultimate.
Fingers up. I think his path would be, which is going to be hard to do. I think this is my biggest worry for him and Dylan and anyone else. And like, there's just not enough reps to go around. You got to fucking packed room right there in the quarterback room. My thing would be like, hey man, maybe he balls out. But the thing is, the preseason's already shortened from when I played. What is it? 2 games now? Is it 2 games? So you don't even get a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
So like maybe you ball out in one of those games and someone trades for you. I don't know. Maybe like Shuck just sucks in New Orleans and New Orleans trades for him. I don't know. But like to sit back and say he is talented enough to play. It's not a very gifted room. If he does have a good camp and the Browns are once again shit, he could play this year. He could still at some point this season be a starting quarterback in the NFL. Damn,
dude. The entire world wants you to fail. and you have to try to prove them wrong and do it in the place where for over 25 years, all we've seen is failure under center.
Got to be rough.
Tell the story
If Dylan beats him out, though.
Yeah.
Oof.
Then that might be the end of Shedeur Sanders.
Who do they keep? Who is it? It's those two. Flacco.
Yeah.
Deshaun.
And Watson's on the team, but he ain't playing.
Yeah, so he'll be in the IR.
Kenny Pickett as well. I mean, surely. Okay, so I think Flacco's probably the starter, right?
I would think so. The max you can keep is 3.
Yeah. So I'm saying you probably keep Flacco, Pickett, and one of the other two. And Deshaun will be on IR.
I don't think you can cut a 3rd-round pick in Gabriel. I think you're going to have to trade one of them.
Oh, well, I mean, whatever. You get rid of one of the two. You can cut a 3rd-round pick, though.
You ain't cutting a 3rd-round pick.
You don't want to, but you can. You can. But we were talking about it today. Very famously, Sean Payton back in the day. I think Pittman, this running back, when he first got – but he was kind of doing it as a statement when he got there. But, like, he drafted a running back in the 3rd round, and then the UDFA guy, Pierre Thomas, was just beating him out in camp until they cut his ass.
Unless Dylan's just god-awful, I don't think you can cut a 3rd round. I think Kenny gets cut, if any of them.
What, and you keep Shedeur and Gabriel to back up Flacco? That seems weird.
They have to perform.
Hey, that guy who
I think Dylan's the 4th of the 4, though, when it comes to talent. I just can't see them cutting a 3rd-round quarterback.
Huh. Good luck trying to make it in that place, though, to all those quarterbacks.
Seriously.
What a god-awful quarterback battle.
Ugh.
Although, look, if you're going to learn from a pro, Joe Flacco's been around the block.
Won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had some moments last year.
Last one, the quarterbacks. Little shock Quinn fell as far as he did, especially behind Graham, Cam Miller, and Curtis Rourke.
That is next on here. Did Quinn Ewers make the correct decision to go to the NFL? But yeah, first let's talk about where he got drafted. So I had behind Mertz, Leonard, Gabriel, Milroe. I forgot about Rourke. Who else?
Cam Miller from North Dakota State.
Wow. What did they see where they were just so
13.
against Quinn Ewers?
Lack of arm strength, lack of mobility.
Yeah. So that beautiful touch not mattering.
But still, like, you would think he'd go ahead of Graham, because it's not like Graham has either of those two. I don't think Riley's necessarily an elite thrower of the football.
Well, I blame you. You just love Graham Mertz so much that you seem to have infected some NFL.
I was shocked when I saw Graham go in the 6th round.
Also, bro, look at the amount of fucking heads on the wall for Quinn Ewers. Like, I want my quarterback to be a killer. I'm feeling pretty good about Quinn Ewers here. Big 7th round value. I mean, my man's has an entire fucking zoo back there, dude. Like, your favorite forest creature, chances are Quinn's killed that shit.
Probably.
If you're listening on podcasts, we're highlighting the hunting room that Quinn Ewers has.
I mean, let's just say overall.
Also, is that a T-Rex? It is a T-Rex. Okay, I don't think he killed that one. Anyway, sorry, go ahead, Aaron.
This draft sucked. Besides Shedeur. The Shedeur drama saved this draft. Or no one would have watched it because it was awful.
I thought the first round was good, but I never watched past the first round anyway, dude.
I even see the first round.
My group. I don't know. The
There's
trade up with Travis Hunter was cool.
In the first round, and I'm like, that guy's not that good.
I thought trading up for Travis Hunter was cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe you're not wrong, actually.
I mean,
but guess what?
At 8. Ugh.
I don't think any draft's that tight, to be honest. I guess last year's
very average.
Do you watch day 2 or 3? I don't.
No, I have my ESPN app open, so I look at it like every 5 minutes to see who got drafted. But I'm not like sitting down watching.
Completely checked out. I just completely checked out after the first round. I was shocked that I still had friends. I was shocked that I still had friends in the group the group text constantly texting about picks like all the way to the 7th round. I'm like, damn, y'all's crazy, dude.
Ugh.
I don't give a fuck. Blake says starters, not stars this draft, so it makes it dull. Sure, whatever. Okay, but did Quinn make the right choice?
I think he did. He wasn't going to be the starter at Texas. He's made plenty of money. And who said this? I firmly agree with it. Pate. Because I've always struggled with this too. When I was at Georgia, would I have hit the open market and tested if I lived in the NIL era? Would I have tested what I could have made somewhere else, or
Absolutely.
would I have rather have built a legacy at Georgia that I can now lean on the rest of my life?
Yeah, I mean that's what he did at Texas.
Yes.
And that is okay. So
he's from Texas. He was a Texas starting quarterback.
Yeah.
Brought him to back-to-back playoffs.
Back-to-back playoffs.
Good career.
Big 12 championship. Don't remember. I mean, don't forget about that either. Big 12 championship on the way out.
I don't know if you want to lose that.
Won a playoff game, beat Oklahoma.
Yeah. I don't know if you
No,
want to
you're
lose
right.
that.
All of that
had
legacy.
an incredible play in the playoff game that people will talk about for a while against Arizona State. So I think he made the right decision. He had sucked. I didn't see him going in the 7th. I would have seen him somewhere in the 5th or 6th, which is still would not have made as much money as he did in college. But I think he knew that going into it. I don't think Quinn went into this draft saying, I'm going to be a top 3 round pick and I'm going to make more money in the next couple of years in the NFL than I was going to make in college. I think he knew that when he made
knew that.
decision.
I don't think he thought he was going to go 7th, but he definitely knew that. I would say this. He made an objectively bad short-term financial decision because, yes, he's going to make $4 million over the entire 4-year course of that contract if he makes it that long, right? He would have made $4 million in 1 year alone, guaranteed next year, whether it's at Miami, Notre Dame, whatever. But the reason why I want to highlight short-term there is because what you said, right? What he did at Texas will lead to shadow economic opportunities for the rest of his life, right? Like if he's ever really down, not that he ever will because he's made a ton of money anyway. He's probably got a great financial team. I think he comes from some wealth maybe as well. So like, I don't think he's ever going to be struggling, but to your point, like when you have a legacy like that at a college, yes, it's great to be remembered, but there's like real life and business advantages to be had. Yes. Like for the and you can speak to that with your Georgia.
I can speak to it. I didn't leave the state Georgia. I'll tell you that Carson Beck probably is not moving to Georgia when he's done.
Nah, he fucked up.
I mean, I think that's another example. Like Carson, if he went to the draft, I think people would have a different feeling than what they feel about him now going to Miami. And remember the narrative about Carson 2 years ago? People loved him. The 4 or 5 star that stayed, that waited his
that's
turn,
so true. That's so
went to
true.
the playoffs, won an SEC championship, went to 2 SEC championships, won a playoff game, and went to Miami. Now people are like, fuck that guy. Like, don't set foot back on campus again. And he probably won't. Like Carson may never set foot back on Athens campus again. Where Quinn will show up and do autograph signings, meet people, meet some fucking dude that has some oil field and marry his daughter and make millions of dollars. Like those opportunities are still there for Quinn to do if he wanted to make money in the state of Texas. Carson, no chance in Georgia.
It's a good point. So even though I started this story by thinking, no, I think he made the right choice, even though it was a financially bad choice. But then upon further reflection, I don't even know that it was a financially bad choice. In the short term, he gave up money. But the connections and everything long term, I think, will have more benefit for what he did.
Well, even look at you would have made money you would have made money next year NIL, yes.
Yeah.
But next year's draft class is stacked. I think that's something. Too. Like,
but then again,
really improve his draft next year when it's 10 times harder than it is this year.
Well, but I mean, that is a mixed bag as well, because who knows? What if he went to another place and did very well, so he gets bumped up more? But then also it's like, now that he got drafted in the 7th round, what really would have been the difference? It's not a major difference between UDFA and 7th round.
No.
I mean, there's a bit of a monetary difference, but it's not a lot of roster security either way.
No, none at all.
I will say this, though. Miami, great landing spot, right?
Yeah.
One of the premier offensive minds in football, no pressure to be the guy early on. Like, And Ewer's mindset is that where I think he is ready to be humble and be the backup or try his best to be if he's good enough. So like, yeah, I think Ewers did make the correct decision. Even with short-term financial loss, I think he made the right choice. Good on you, Quinn Ewers.
Yep. Good for you, buddy. You want to hit this Belichick thing?
Yes. Blake Walter said, did you see the Belichick thing? Oh my God. Why does my computer keep going crazy? All right, here we go. This shit is fucking weird. And it only gets weirder the more details we got. So Bill Belichick sat down with CBS Sunday morning, and reportedly it was just an absolute disaster. So the TMZ, well, okay, what's the best order to do this?
Why the fuck is he wearing a Navy sweatshirt?
Well, I guess his dad coached there, and he's promoting.
I don't care.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. So I'm with you. And that's how I think this show will approach this. All of this, to me, if I'm UNC's administration or I'm a UNC fan, I'm starting to get stressed.
You're on national television there's some people out there who probably still don't know that he's the head coach of North Carolina.
Yep.
Why would you not be pumping your university?
I agree. I completely agree. Also, like, don't you tell your players, we were always given this speech, you represent the university at all times, right? Like with how you conduct yourself, the decisions you make, that's not applied. And I don't mean just physically here with the shirt thing, which is fucking bullshit, but I mean in how he's been acting with this Jordan girl lately.
Oh, yeah.
Get a little out of pocket. Like apparently, reportedly, CBS was shocked because no one from the publishing company, he's promoting a book here, but no one from the publishing company and no one from UNC was with him. There was one person, Jordan Hudson. And now we know from TMZ that apparently this interview was a disaster. She reportedly stormed out of the room in the middle of the interview, expecting Belichick to follow her. He didn't at first, and he did. She delayed the filming of it by 30 minutes. There was reportedly multiple instances. You'll see one of them, but multiple instances of her butting in. Like apparently even when Belichick was talking about football, she was jumping in and correcting him. And so it led to such a disaster that they apparently they barely cobbled together the 8 minutes they end up airing. And there was supposed to be a second interview, but this one was such a disaster that they just straight up cut out the second interview.
Disaster.
But here is the clip, which again, if I'm UNC, I'm paying you a lot of money to conduct yourself like a fucking pro. You should be wearing a UNC shirt. You should be all smiles. You should be recruiting and politicking right here, not doing this fucking awkwardness.
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there. Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship. They've got an opinion about your private life. It's got nothing to do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on. Jordan was a constant.
How did we know how they met?
So we'll get into that in a second. First off, I just got to highlight, I love the line. Jordan was a constant presence during the interview. In CBS Sunday mornings speak, that is, this motherfucker was annoying the fuck out of me, and we couldn't shut the fuck up.
We couldn't get in any rhythm, couldn't have any legitimate conversation.
This little 24-year-old asshole was in here fucking. Jordan was a constant presence. Constant presence that is doing a lot. That's not as tactful of a way as you could say it. But so here's the deal, Aaron. Apparently, the story that was public before this was that they had met on an airplane. And I'm like, okay, if that's the case, lean into that. Even if it's a fucking lie, just keep talking about
that shit.
So now, I mean, obviously, she gets that defensive. We're not going to talk about that. Shuts it down. Like, where do you think everybody's head is jumping to?
What was her job before?
I don't know.
Anyone knows?
People are jumping straight to like a Pretty Woman situation, like Richard Gere. Like, is this I know there's like sugar daddy dating app sites, there's stuff like that. So like, obviously that's what everybody's saying and talking and thinking about now. And this is the thing, because that's maybe the story's going to come out, and that's unfair to Jordan Hudson. But now that she is so clearly in the public eye, she does have to understand how her actions are going to be perceived. And I'm sorry, it's very simple. If you refuse to answer a simple question,
people are going to think the worst.
You're going to cause bigger problems than if you just answered it simply.
Yep.
Like, it was such a weird, visceral, we're not talking about that. And the interviewer's like, no, full stop. Like, okay. So here we have a relationship with a 50-year age gap that is kind of mind-boggling outside looking in. And when asked how y'all met, you're going to that defensively shut it down. What conclusions are we supposed to draw here on the outside looking in?
The worst? Only the worst? Nothing but the worst? Unless I definitively know this is your timeline, this is where you've been, this is what you've done, this is what your job was, and then some receipts about where you met, then yes, I'm fine. But the fact that there is a massive age gap, that he is such a public figure, and then there's little to be known about you, and then you're unwilling to even talk about it?
I mean, the thing is, your relationship's an undeniable piece of all of this nowadays. And so to not have a story prepped and ready for that question is shocking. And I think she's kind of like his PR manager now, basically. She's kind of like his manager / agent in a lot of ways. I don't know. This is just disastrous. And if I was UNC, I'd be really questioning where Bill's head is at.
She was wearing a Navy shirt too, I believe.
Yeah.
Why are they both rocking Navy?
Again, the why is because it's his dad, but I'm with you. I don't give a fuck. You have to have UNC gear on.
Yes. For someone who ran such a tight ship with the Patriots, like the worst coach to play for. Yeah, you won championships but when it came to like day-to-day grind and everything that went into being a Patriot, it was awful. Awful. I mean, it's equivalent to what people say what it was like to be a Crimson Tide with Nick Saban.
Yeah.
You take the championships with it, but like, he was a dictator. You did it his way or you were out. And to now see him kind of be so lax with a lot of things is kind of like, what happened? Is this the guy that I wanted at UNC? Like, I wanted the guy that won Super Bowls, that ran a tight ship, not someone who's dating this girl who's wearing Navy gear and not promoting UNC at all times.
And like
in a world where you're supposed to be promoting UNC at all times because it's just where we live in this NIL era.
Oh, it's free advertising. Where are you going to CBS Sunday mornings? You should just be trying to get kids to UNC, not sitting here talking about. Well, actually, he also didn't thank Robert Kraft in his book, which is funny. Didn't even acknowledge him. That was a very awkward interaction from the interview. I watched the whole 8-minute thing. It was a fucking disaster. It was so squirmy and weird. But you want to see the best conspiracy theory yet?
Please.
This comes from Pick and Petey on Instagram. Listen to this. Pick and Petey's third eye is fully open.
Freaking out after Bill Belichick's girlfriend refused to let him answer a question about how the two met. Check this out.
And what's right? How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable.
But the reason they won't share the story isn't because it's embarrassing or scandalous or they paid a matchmaker. It's far more nefarious than that. You see, Jordan Hudson was a cheerleader.
Oh, no. I was just getting into it, T. Oh, fucking unbelievable. Yeah, the pictures were not his best either.
I don't know what's going on here.
I mean, I was really diving into that video.
I know. I apologize. We were like just getting to the good part. Okay, here we go. We're back.
Skip to that part.
To cheer for the Patriots. Now, obviously, NFL coaches don't typically do the recruiting for cheerleaders, but he said he did it because he wanted to be very hands-on in the organization. The real reason he recruited the cheerleaders is because he wanted to use them to spy on opposing teams because nobody would suspect them and they're able to get closer to the sidelines, get access to the playbooks, and listen to what the other teams are saying. In fact, it's now being suggested that apparently Belichick had been using cheerleaders for the last decade with the Patriots to cheat and spy on other teams and bring him information. And he
Oh my God.
do so. Now, he and Hudson obviously had a different relationship, but apparently if the word comes out about how he was actually recruiting cheerleaders and why he was doing it, it could cost him his college coaching career.
There you go, dude. You heard it here first. Bill Belichick has been using cheerleaders as fucking spies, Aaron Murray. Here you are going over on the tablet, on the board. You're going over some pass pro schemes and little changes here or there. And fucking Jenny is radioing it back to the fucking Patriots sideline. Terrible.
Oh.
This man knows does he know no limits?
So was he holding like nightly meetings with these girls too, leading up to the game?
Yes.
To teach them terminology so they would know what to relay back.
Why else is she interrupting him during football questions on the CBS interview? She knows ball because Belichick taught her ball so that she could better spy on the other teams. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, dude. Good job picking Petey. Somebody needs to investigate immediately.
Oh, so good.
Not quite
so
what
good.
you thought, huh?
So good. I'm happy it went that direction, though. I am happy. It's very frowned upon to interact with the cheerleaders.
What, like in your own organization? I mean, we like straight up were not allowed to hang out with the cheerleaders.
I had to like secretly date one of the cheerleaders in Kansas City. Like we could not go out in public, which was great. Not mad about it.
What a QB1 thing to say. You're dating this woman, you fucking asshole. Wait, hold on.
It wasn't very official.
You're telling me you're telling me I can date someone but not actually have anyone know that I'm dating them so I can do whatever the fuck I want? Oh, hell yeah, I'm in, dude. I am so in. But where do I sign up?
All right. See y'all Thursday.
All right, guys. We love you. We'll see you Thursday for some more Snaps. Shout out Snaps Clothing Company, Snaps CF.